We want to begin with that ceasefire set to begin in less than 1 hour between Israel and Iran. President Trump tonight making that announcement on social media. All of this coming just days after that U.S. strike on nuclear facilities and mere hours after Iran retaliated, hitting a U.S. military base in Qatar. No one was injured. Tonight, NBC's Jay Gray breaks down what's in the deal and what's next.
Just hours after Iran targets a U.S. military base in Qatar, President Trump announces that country and Israel have completely agreed to a ceasefire, outlining the details in a social media post, writing that the two countries will wind down final missions and approximately midnight East Coast time, a ceasefire is set to begin. And within 24 hours, he says, there will be an official end to fighting.
So that's good news that the president was able to get that across the finish line.
The announcement comes after Iran fired missiles at the Al Udeid air base in Qatar, payback for the U.S. bombing 3 nuclear facilities over the weekend. The president calling the retaliatory strike weak and said no Americans were harmed. On Saturday, Trump praising the U.S. airstrikes.
I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success.
These images show the before and after of the 3 sites. Isfahan Technology Center taking a direct hit, and at Natanz, a crater remains where a bomb hit. But it's difficult to determine damage at the Fordo facility, buried deep underground. And it's unclear where Iran stored its enriched uranium and if it was hit, though the administration is confident it was.
We have a high degree of confidence that where those strikes took place is where Iran's enriched uranium was stored.
The president touting his direct involvement in bringing an end to what he calls the 12-day war. Now the world waiting and watching to see if the ceasefire holds. Jay Gray, NBC News.
President Trump is scheduled to leave for the NATO summit tomorrow morning. Tonight, we'll be hearing from Indiana Democrat Andre Carson, who sits on the House Intelligence Committee. We talked to him earlier today as he was heading into briefings about the strikes. So at the time, he was unable to say if those strikes involved any of the 600 Indiana National Guard members stationed in the Middle East. In social media posts over the weekend, President Trump applauded the operation aimed at taking out Iran's nuclear capabilities. The president also talked about a regime change in Iran.
We are facing increased risks to our national security and a potential nuclear conflict and a destabilized region. As long as the region is destabilized and as long as there's animosity toward the United States, a regime change won't change much because the animosity is so high and the resentment is so great. Now, long term, sure, we know that Iran has been and shown itself to be a certified supporter of state-sponsored terrorism. That does not speak to the Iranian people. It speaks to its leadership.
Congressman Carson went on to say he's been advised by U.S. intelligence agencies that they are closely monitoring any potential threats on U.S. soil. Well, Republican Senator Todd Young posted about the strikes on social media tonight, saying we are grateful that no one was injured today. All Americans should continue to keep our service members in their prayers at this critical time. As President Trump has said, we will not tolerate attacks by Iran on our people. Now, we're going to be gathering reaction to this ceasefire and the strikes at the U.S. base in Qatar in the coming hours, and you can read them all right now on WTHR.com.